You hear that? Sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? This big, metal, ethereal sounding thing, it's not a UFO. It's something called a Rav Vast, and it is my new favorite instrument. My name's Mike, and I am a multi-instrumentalist, producer, and music educator. And today, I'm going to share with you what this instrument is, how it was developed, and why you may want to buy one. With AI becoming more prominent in music production, I feel it's important now more than ever for producers who are used to working only with samples to be introduced to fun and easy ways to start making music without needing to resort to Suno and Splice exclusively. So let's start by diving into the history of the Rav Vast. To understand the Rav Vast, we need to go back. Way back. Thousands of years ago, humans figured out that if you cut slits into a hollowed out log, you get different pitches. Aztecs did it, Africans did it, Indonesians did it, independently across the world. Because apparently hitting things and making music is just deeply human. These were called slit drums or wooden tongue drums. And they were used for everything from rituals to long distance communication. Basically like the world's first text message, but louder and cooler. Fast forward to 1990. A guy named Jim Doble looked at a water tank that he had in his backyard and thought, I wonder. He cut some tuned tongues into it, and the steel tongue drum was born. Sometimes genius looks a lot like a guy just poking holes in a metal tank in his backyard. Then, in 1999, a Swiss workshop called Panart created the hang drum, a UFO-shaped steel instrument with a gorgeous, resonant sound. People went absolutely wild for it. The problem? It cost thousands of dollars, and Panart could barely keep up with demand. For most music lovers, owning a hang drum was like owning a unicorn. Beautiful in theory, but not happening in real life. Enter Andrei Remyanikov. I hope I'm saying that right. Russian engineer, hand-pan obsessive, man with a plan, and a very tight budget. Andrei was captivated by the sound of the hang drum, but like most of us, he simply couldn't afford one. So naturally, he did what any reasonable person would do. He decided to build his own. He spent 18 months working on it every single day. We're talking multiple metal broken barrels, over 100 rejected tongue designs, prototypes built from gas tanks that, by all accounts, looked nothing like the finished product. His early attempts were basically a series of expensive failures, which honestly is just engineering for getting closer. By 2013, after all of that trial and error, Andrei had his first working prototype. It was handcrafted, lovingly weird, and it had a sound that rivaled the instrument that inspired it, while still being something entirely new. He called it a Rav drum. The RAV came from his online username. Gotta love a man who brands himself. Now, here's the thing about inventing something great. You have to do it again, but better. Andrei spent another year developing the instrument in his garage, experimenting with larger shells, different tongue shapes, and crucially, the internal structure that would become the Rav's secret weapon. He eventually replaced the word drum with vast, which is a nod to the instrument's deep, long, and overwhelming sustain. By 2015, the Rav Vast was turning heads at handpan festivals in France. Players who'd spent years devoted to handpans picked it up at the event and said, "What is this?" The answer? It's a tongue drum. It's kind of a handpan. It's both, it's neither, it's its own thing entirely, and it's patented. All right, let's get into the design of this thing, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. From the outside, a Rav Vast looks like a flying saucer made of steel. Two domed hemispheres, about 59 centimeters across, with a ring of tongue-shaped cutouts on top. Simple enough, right? Wrong. Here's what makes the Rav different from every other tongue drum out there. First, the tongues themselves. Most tongue drums have basic flat cutouts. The Rav uses a patented V-tip tongue geometry, which creates richer, chorus-like tones. Each tongue doesn't just produce one note. It generates between 4 and 7 tuned harmonics, which we call partials. That's what gives this sound its shimmering layered quality. Hit one tongue and you're not just hearing one note. You're hearing a small orchestra. Second, the internal ribs. Here's the secret ingredient. Unlike handpans and most other hand drums, which are completely hollow inside, the Rav Vast has metal ribs connecting specific parts of the shell. These ribs shape the resonance, enhance sustain, and help achieve a clear singing tone that lasts and lasts after you've already struck a note. Early prototypes didn't have these ribs, and you could hear the difference immediately. Third, the tuning process. This is the most time-consuming step of the whole build, and it requires serious patience, concentration, and a fantastic ear. While many production steps have been refined and partially automated, the tuning is still deeply human work. Every tongue is not just tuned to its fundamental note, but to its harmonics as well. Get it wrong, and the whole instrument sounds completely off. Get it right, and well, you get that sound from the intro. The whole process, from raw steel to finished drum, takes about 2 weeks per instrument. It involves 13 people and a strict 6-step quality control process. About 80% of the production is still done by hand. Rav Labs is based in Perm, Russia, a city where winter starts in November and sometimes doesn't leave until April. And frankly, it kind of sounds like Chicago, where I'm from, so it's not that bad. But the team has this theory that the long, cold winters are part of why the instrument sounds so warm and meditative. I'm not going to argue with that. So from a one-man garage operation, the company has grown to around 80 people working in production, grinding, welding, gluing, painting, tuning, quality checking, plus a sales and logistics team. They also have a warehouse in Estonia to help ship instruments around the world. The RAV is now sold in over 45 countries, and it's been picked up by meditators, professional musicians, and total beginners. So what's the real appeal here? Why does this instrument make people stop scrolling? A few things. Accessibility. Every Rav Vast is tuned so that you literally cannot play a wrong note. All 9 notes, or 10 notes on some, of the instruments are in harmony with each other. It's musically idiot-proof in the best way possible. Durability. Unlike handpans, which can go out of tune in hot weather or with heavy playing, the Rav Vast is built tough. Unless you drop it down a staircase or hit it with something really heavy, the tuning stays stable essentially forever. The sustain, seriously, the sustain on this thing is almost comically long. You tap a note and it just keeps going and going and going. Andre spent years engineering that, calculating internal ratios, perfecting the rib structure, shaping the tongues just right. And it's not an accident, it's physics just applied so beautifully. So to sum things up, the Rav Vast started as one engineer's refusal to accept that such a beautiful instrument was beyond his reach. It was born in a garage, built from broken metal barrels, rejected prototypes, and refined over years of obsessive tinkering. Today, it's played on stages, in meditation studios, in living rooms, and on street corners around the world. Not bad for a water tank with ambition. If you've played a Rav Vast, drop a comment below and tell me what scale you have. And if you found this video helpful, a like and subscribe goes a long way. I'll see you in the next one.